We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Elijah Campbell, Miami Dolphins safety, who I think is pretty underrated by the fan base and just, people around the league. Obviously, he's a very good special teams player. I think a lot of people understand that about his game. He's going to go out there, and I expect that to be very similar, being a special teams guy. But over the past 2 seasons, he's made some good plays at safety and has been made pretty solid and reliable on defense in his limited snaps. Last year, playing as traditional safety, got the job done in this Jets game where he had to start and play the entire game. Very impressed with that work out of Campbell in that. And then 2 years ago, he had to play in that playoff game versus the Bills, and he was asked to spy Josh Allen a lot. And it was probably the most successful spy we've ever had versus Josh Allen. He made multiple plays, which was nice to see because we typically haven't had that. And then the preseason, I thought overall had a pretty good preseason. I think the Dolphins coaching staff really likes him. I thought he made plays from multiple different alignments. He showed off range, physicality at the catch point, very, very physical. And then obviously the special team stuff was just still there. As a gunner, him and Saran Neal as gunners is going to be just a great, great duo. And I really, really am going to look forward to watching special teams because of that. And, you can see some of these plays and we'll break them down later on. But, yeah, feel better about Campbell. And I wouldn't be surprised if this season, Campbell actually takes a lot of those, third safety snaps, because in rotation wise, Campbell usually came out of these preseason games before Marcus May. So I wouldn't be surprised if they favor Campbell at this point. And even Weaver was talking about him the other day. Don't sleep on Elijah Campbell. So very, very impressive. Love this play because Dolphins are showing a too high. I love being able to disguise coverage. A too high look could go quarters, cover 2, be 2-man, whatever. Pre-snap, then Needham goes middle of the field. Campbell's gonna basically become a robber here. He buzzes down. Recognizes number 2 is just kind of sitting over the middle like this. He's reading 2. One's no threat to this side. Reading through to the QB's eyes. And once he sees him start to release, look how quickly Campbell closes this space once he sees the release. So fast. That closing burst is ridiculous. I love a safety that has the burst like this to get downhill, playing top down. And then he has great physicality. He's going to try to hit you as hard as he can. And he usually has pretty clean hits too. He throws his shoulder into you. Usually doesn't get a ton of penalties type of guy. I think he had one in the preseason, but it was on a special teams play. But yeah, love that ability to close downhill, make this type of play. Definitely feel comfortable with him as an underneath safety if he ever has to do that. Here he's kind of, in the middle of that because he was disguising high look and then coming down low to play it. But he's always felt comfortable near the line of scrimmage and playing underneath. Here we get him man-to-man in the slot versus number 3 versus tight end. I think he can play as a nice little tight end matchup if that's ever super needed. I think he looks comfortable here, playing with good bend, good feet here. He's staying square, staying patient. Seeing the tight end break, he breaks on it, matches. Tight end tries to hit the stick and nod, so he's doing the double move to hit that out and up. And Campbell gets hands-on without getting overly physical, stays in the hip pocket, doesn't allow any separation. That's just beautiful coverage versus this type of route. Seeing these reps, obviously this is preseason, so he's not going versus top end talent, but you can see the technique and athleticism no matter who his opponent's going against, so that's still nice to see. And if he's going to be a third safety, you're not expecting him to match up versus their number 1 option super often, but great special teams option. I think good safety depth. I think the Dolphins have better safety depth because Marcus May, I think, looked better in every preseason game, and I feel comfortable if May has to play as well. But here's Campbell filling versus the run as a split field safety. Being able to get down and make plays versus the run is big. He starts to shoot downhill, recognizes run immediately, reads his run keys, gets down and be involved in the block, avoids he's reading the running back as he's anticipating the bounce back, feels the receiver as well, avoids the receiver of block. He has a great feel for avoiding blocks. That's a special teams type thing. Get down, track this, make that tackle a few yards, about for a 4 to 5 yard gain, and from his alignment, that's a pretty good rep from him on that one. Here we have Campbell playing, in this look. Dolphins love to run last year they loved to run cover 6, cover 8. He's to the cover 2 side of the field, so Kohu's playing his corner, has the flat right here. The receiver is running deep, pressing him vertically, gets up on him, breaks to the outside. Campbell is gaining depth, playing over the top, trying to hit, this whole shot here. And then Campbell transitions. I love the transition here. Look how quickly he transitions. Boom. And then the burst range to close. And then ball skills. Hand perfect timing to swat that one down. Love seeing that. Making plays like that. really, really good. Sometimes I feel like he plays a little too straight up. Like, I wish his pad level was a little bit better here in his pedal. Sometimes it is, sometimes not. I feel like when he's in man, he has a pretty good pedal, or he plays with a little more bend. Sometimes, like, when he's playing deep, he plays a little too straight up, which can lead to, clunky transitions. But here, his transition ends up being pretty good because he gets low right before he's going to transition. I think he should just be a little more low, just in case earlier on. But love that closing speed burst to make a play on that ball. And he also just come down, match down in the flat. He's Dolphins playing like their version of 3 match. Once number 2 releases the outside, like he's responsible for 2 to the flat because he's the flat defender. He basically matches 2 vertically into the outside. So once he sees him break down quickly to the flat, he's just going to close, more closing speed, and then tackling finish. Very good recognition skills, takes good angles. He's going to tackle you. He's going to hit you. Love that part of his game. That's like the reason he's such a good special teams player. Is he's got great play speed, and he's very, very physical. It's something that really always translates well to special teams. So it's going to be exciting to see. Here he is on the outside. Actually matched up one-on-one with a tight end. I like seeing this type of look. You don't see this too much for safeties. But this was in the last preseason game. He just gets a one-on-one with a tight end. Look at him anticipate this. Like, this tight end is really, like, he's reading the body language of the tight end. Guy starts to float a little bit to the outside. His pad level's too high. And Campbell's already anticipating this. Look at this. He's breaking now. He's starting to feel and break as this guy is just starting to, like, go to the outside. Hasn't even broken yet. And Campbell's on that so quickly. Ball doesn't go there. But, like, you get a one-on-one. A lot of quarterbacks would usually take this opportunity. And Campbell was in the perfect situation. Campbell's always been a good preseason player. Ever since he's been with the Dolphins, he's actually been getting, like, interceptions in the preseason. This one, he didn't get to, like, but those other preseason games, that's back when he was, like, fighting for a roster spot and playing a whole bunch of snaps. In these preseason games, he was really only playing, like, first half of snaps, looking really, really solid. So, definitely has earned himself a spot with the team. Here you can see more of the closing speed. Dolphins go to cover 3. He's playing as that buzz defender again. He's like a hook guy. Sees, the quarterback is about to throw it underneath. He's actually like because they need him into blitzing. So he actually is going to be like a seam flat defender. So he sees this flat right here. And he doesn't have to because he can gain depth. But he sees it start to throw, and look how fast he closes. Ball ends up being incomplete, but, like, he would have hit him. I mean, he does still kind of hit him. Doesn't get called for penalty. But he is closing ground very quickly, ready to make physical plays, recognizing plays pretty well. Here versus screen, just making open field tackles that come to him. Getting involved in that as, a deep safety who's aligned, like, about, like, in that 12 to 15 yard range pre-snap, that can get downhill and make a tackle before the first down sticks on screens. It's a pretty nice play here. Jordan Brooks also get involved. I broke this down on Jordan Brooks' play, but yeah, really, really impressed with Campbell. This was like the one play where I was like, okay, he could have definitely had a better play here. This was versus Saran Neal. Now, he's playing as, like, the deep middle of the field safety. He starts to go to the inside. He's on the hash. He's actually to the side of the field, so he has a chance to make it. Once he sees Baker open up, he opens up his hips. He has the closing speed, the range to get there. Like, he's in a position to make a play. I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't want to get a penalty and, like, try to destroy the receiver. Maybe he thought he got there a little too early and he had to wait. Maybe he thought the corner was in a position to make a play and he just wanted to get over the top. He just looked a little bit, like, indecisive in what to do here. And it's not because, it's not like a lack. I feel like some people could see it as maybe a lack of effort thing. But no, I feel like this is indecisiveness. Like, he's a guy who usually loves to hit you. So I feel like he gets here and thinks, like, oh, do I make a play on the ball? Do I not? Is the corner in the right place? Do I, like, I don't know. He just definitely needs to be a little more decisive in those situations. Here he is as a deep middle field safety again. This one is actually pretty impressive range-wise. Like, he's straight middle of the field. Quarterback's looking him off, looking to the left side here, to the 3 receiver side. Campbell sticks in the middle. Actually takes some false steps here too. So a little bit of false steps. Once he sees the QB go back to the single receiver side, he's now starting to open up his hips. And this is good range for him to go from basically straight middle of the field, a little bit towards that hash, but straight middle of the field to getting to the sideline. Like, if this ball is completed, Campbell's like a step off. So I just wanted to show that for, like, range purposes, because I feel like I don't think he should be like that. I think he's more of he can play split field looks. He can play underneath zone, maybe matchup versus tight ends. We talked, he can play as a spy. He can tackle down in the box. Don't know if he's necessarily like a single high safety, but because I don't think he's as comfortable in those situations, but we definitely could see him make some plays here just on special teams. We'll just watch him get off the line here. If you leave him one-on-one, which Saran Neal, who usually is not in this situation, but in a lot of situations gets double teamed, so Campbell will get a lot of opportunities one-on-one. He just takes that inside path. They're punting to the right, blows right by him, takes good angle, ends up tripping up the receiver. He stays on his feet a little bit, but he's the one who basically makes that play, which is important. Here at the bottom, versus the Titans, this is a huge play. Hard release to the inside, get this guy to open up, take that outside release, and they're trying to bring this guy. Like, he probably recognized this guy was coming back to block to the inside, so Campbell wants to take that outside release. Plus, they're punting to the left. Avoid this guy. Just has a real good feel for that stuff. Sees this guy try to get it. Boom. Hops on the ball. Recovers the fumble. That was a huge play in that game. That should have been the game-winning play, but the offense and defense kind of choked that one. Similar situation here versus the Cowboys. Just beating two guys trying to block him a double team. Keep working through contact late into the play. Punt returner has to let it go because of all this, chaos right there at where the ball is. Campbell sticks with it, makes the play, drops it right at the 2-yard line. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. Elijah Campbell's a great special teams player. And I feel like he's just an underrated safety for them. I feel like he's a real good depth option to have. And I'm excited to see if he gets some looks out there in 3 safety stuff, because I think he has some value with his versatility and can do some things that you like. So, if you guys know the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Ethan Bonner video tomorrow and a stream tomorrow where we're breaking down Jaguars preview, going over their player positions, their coaching, and stuff like that, and how the Dolphins kind of match up against them. So, if you